KQED's White House correspondent Mari Otsu standing by at the North Lawn. Mari, good evening.
Hey Steve, good evening. That's right. Today, oil prices are plummeting to a one-week low at below $90 per barrel as the U.S. has halted strikes on Iran for now the third consecutive night in a row. But the White House is making clear that this military option remains on the table as they continue to squeeze the regime economically. That's as the U.S. naval blockade on Iranian ports remains strong, costing the regime hundreds of millions of dollars per day. Take a look.
Well, Iran took a beating over the last 14 days, and they asked us very nicely, please stop. Let's meet.
President Trump saying that if diplomacy fails, he's ready to order strong military action. The president rejecting reports that the U.S. military is facing weapons shortages amid the Iran conflict, saying that the U.S. has lots of ammunition and that plants are rapidly being built.
The Patriots in particular are being built. The THAAD system is going up. We have a lot. Every one of our contractors is building 4 to 5 plants right now, and we're in very good shape.
This comes as President Trump tours General Motors in Milford and touts bringing manufacturing back to America. The White House says since returning to office, the president has secured billions in new investments from companies like GM, Ford, Stellantis, OpenAI, and others, creating thousands of Michigan jobs.
We can thank this gentleman right here for all these jobs coming back, and I hear it all the time from all my connections at all the different auto plants around the Metro Detroit area. Jobs are coming back to America.
Meanwhile, President Trump is urging the Senate to stay in town until the Save America Act is passed, ramping up pressure on Majority Leader John Thune. This comes as the Trump administration is asking the Supreme Court to clear the way for an executive order targeting mail-in voting before the midterms. The order calls for the creation of a federal list of eligible voters and tells the U.S. Postal Service to deliver mail ballots only to people on that list. This request coming after President Trump delivered a primetime address announcing the declassification of intelligence he says reveals large-scale Chinese hacking of American voter data and has serious implications for the future of our elections.
And finally, we will pass the Save America Act through the Senate. They don't want to have a thing called proof of citizenship. So why doesn't somebody want voter ID or proof of citizenship? Because they want to cheat. Mail-in ballots are inherently corrupt, except for illness, disability, military deployment, or travel.
And President Trump tomorrow will be attending the funeral of his late friend, Senator Lindsey Graham, at the Washington National Cathedral. Now, both Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky will also be in attendance, and President Trump will be welcoming them to the White House for separate bilateral talks. With Zelensky, the White House says, is going to be talking about peace between Russia and Ukraine. And the White House says with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, President Trump will be talking about the conflict in Iran, the trilateral framework with Lebanon, and expanding the Abraham Accords. Back to you.
And to these Mari Otsu live from the White House. Thank you, Mari. And the White House says that the U.S. has more than enough munitions to reach its goals in Iran. Meantime, regional mediators have brought both sides back to the negotiating table. Joining me now to assess, Jonathan Gilliam, former Navy SEAL and FBI special agent. Jonathan, great to have you back with us. President Trump speaking today about the munition supplies before flying over Michigan. Here's what he said.
Plants are being built. A lot of equipment's being built. The Patriots in particular are being built. The THAAD system is going up. We have a lot. Every one of our contractors is building 4 to 5 plants right now. And we're in very good shape. But for some of the more sophisticated stuff, we'd certainly like to have more. Biden gave a lot of it away.
Jonathan, former President Biden leaned on existing U.S. stockpiles to send Patriots and other air defense systems over to Ukraine. That war has been waging for 5 years. How has President Trump's push on domestic manufacturing helped rebuild those reserves, and are you confident that we have enough?
Well, I'm very confident. I mean, look, we're not, Iran doesn't have the ability, first of all, regardless of how many munitions we have out there, and I don't think we're in a position where we should worry, but Iran does not have the ability to sustain attacks. And that's really where any worry would happen, is that their ability to sustain massive amounts of attacks where these missiles, these missile defense systems would run low. And that is not the case at this point. I think what was done under the Biden administration is like everything else that the Biden administration did, which is where they didn't think things through. They made financial decisions that would benefit politics and further run for offices in the Democrat Party and the Biden administration by using and promising these munitions and giving them away. So I think what President Trump has done in really strengthening the system within the United States to manufacture all parts of this. Remember, it's not just missiles that blow up; it's also the components that go in there, the microchips, the guidance systems, all these things. He has strengthened American companies to make those things, and that takes away the power of our dependency on other parts of these munitions. So everything he does, really, I'll be honest with you, everything that this president does has benefited this nation. It's just things are taken out of context by media and by the left, and they make it look like he's a failure. But I mean, overall, he's an extreme success in all of these things because he forward thinks what we're going to need and how we get to the point that we need to be to make up for the losses from before. And that's what I see here. I'm not worried.
I think it's also important to mention that the president did inherit a very complicated situation with various pressures from the previous administration, whether that be inflation, the wars that were taking place that did not happen on his watch, that he had to try to come in and resolve. That's some additional context that's often left out.
Sure.
Jonathan, the president also mentioned that talks are resuming with Iran once again, while strikes are on pause. Here's what he had to say.
We've pretty much destroyed their military. They want to meet, and we're meeting. We'll see what happens. There's a chance we could make a deal. Without what we did, they wouldn't even be talking to us. They requested a meeting through their surrogates and directly. And we're meeting, and, good things can happen.
Jonathan, do you think that the goal of these set of talks is another interim ceasefire? And what safeguards need to be in place this time to keep it from collapsing like the last one, if that is indeed the intention?
So I think, here's where the president has to use his own understanding and really hold those who are advising him at bay to an extent, because each one of those people who advise him have their own special interests. I mean, you know this, DC, people get into a position of power. A lot of these people in a diplomatic area have never been in the military. They never dealt with Iran before. They've spent a career in something else and then came into the diplomatic scene, or that's all they've done is diplomacy. So the people that they work with are not war fighters, and they themselves are not war fighters. So I would be very careful if I was a president in what advice I take. I would listen to it, but I'd be very careful what I take. He's smart enough to understand what people are capable of in business and the depths of depravity that go there. It's exponentially worse when it comes to warfare and cult mindsets, which Iran has. So I think the president has to be very careful here. I trust his intuition better than I trust the diplomats. And so I think when it comes to Iran, I think we all know now diplomacy does not work with them. It's just a way for them to gain time, because in their minds, they're fighting a war that they will win. And that war is for the caliphate. That's for regional and global dominance. We have to always remember that that's in the background of their tactics and their strategy. And so they believe that they will be the victors one way or another. And I would also advise the president that you cannot trust other nations in that region to fully be honest with you, because many of them have the same belief system as the Iranian regime. They just don't carry out the attacks. They allow and empower Iran by either turning away or secretly sponsoring them. And that's something that we have to remember. These are two huge parts of this that diplomats just did not bring up.
Jonathan, conventional thinking here in Washington, I wouldn't call it wisdom, is such that, and maybe there's some validity to it, that Iran sort of has an advantage because they know we have the midterms, and they think the president is going to act in such a way to sort of appease the public with regard to the war. Let me flip that on its head. these sort of on again, off again situations be a strategic move on the United States' part to sort of strangle Iran to the point, like, is there a breaking point? Could Iran be on the verge of collapse? We know their economy wasn't good, almost on the verge of collapse prior to the war. Now we've cut off their lifeline, the oil. Might there be a strategy here? And who knows? Talk to us about potential covert action that's taking place to undermine this government to just see the whole bottom fall out. Is that a possibility?
Sure. And listen, you know, I guess that's probably been done in the past, but to the extent what we've done is we go in and we throw everything at something, and then we just allow the military-industrial complex to take over and kind of plan how we fight. And we don't fight. I mean, the global war on terror was kind of fought like that, where there was no rhyme or reason why we were doing things. The strategic plan was just to keep fighting. And I think in this case, you know, I'm from Arkansas, so I use rudimentary examples, but you know, if you go into a house that's infested with cockroaches and you turn the lights on, they scurry. You turn the lights off, let it get quiet, turn it back on, and there they are again. So if you were an exterminator and you went in and you exterminated a place, go out, turn the lights off, wait for a little bit, come back in with the lights on, see what's going on. And I think this is a measured way to determine where they've been hit, how hard they've been hit, and we have nothing but time. The president has all his resources there. So he can turn the lights on and turn them back off and gauge where they're at and what their capabilities are, and also where they're maneuvering. Because unlike an exterminator, we have night vision, we have satellites in the sky, so as they're maneuvering when the lights are off, and when we're not bombing, we can follow what they're doing and where they're going. So I'm not against it. I think ultimately all of this will lead to a elimination of this regime and Iran's ability to wage war either on behalf of themselves or others who believe in this caliphate. I just believe that is where we're going. The nuclear program, the Houthis, these proxies, I think it's either going to happen now or it's going to happen in the future. But if I was a president, I wouldn't worry about the midterms. I would keep going because the harder he pounds Iran, the lower the gas prices would be. And really, if he wants to win the midterms, concentrate on the gas prices. Do what you can to force these gas companies to lower their prices because they're gouging. And I think if he does that, I mean, he'll win the libertarians in 2 seconds. Most of these people don't care whether or not we're fighting Iran. They just care because they have to pay more for gas.
Former Navy SEAL Jonathan Gilliam, as always, appreciate your perspective. Thank you. And the Senate is facing a packed schedule before the August recess. President Trump wants action on a third Republican reconciliation bill, 2 committees preparing high-profile proceedings, and Washington set to honor the late Senator Lindsey Graham. NTD's Chris Ball reports.
Budget resolution that unlocks our third reconciliation bill, which of course is Republicans' best shot to get as much of the Save America Act into law as possible, in addition to funding our national defense and our farmers.
House Speaker Mike Johnson is urging the Senate to act after the House approved the blueprint for Republicans' third reconciliation package. The plan includes defense and agricultural funding, along with $10 billion to incentivize states to adopt provisions of the Save America Act. President Trump posted on Truth Social Friday, quote, "This will be one of the most consequential bills in American history, strengthening our powerful military, providing aid for our farmers, and most importantly, as much of the Save America Act as possible." Trump added, quote, "I am asking that the Senate adopt a budget resolution which can pass with a simple majority before leaving for the August recess." The Senate Judiciary Committee is also scheduled to vote Thursday on advancing the nomination of Todd Blanche for Attorney General. The committee held the nomination over last week under its rules. One day earlier, Dr. Anthony Fauci will return to Capitol Hill under subpoena. Senator Rand Paul posted an interview clip from the First TV on X July 22nd, previewing his committee's questioning.
He will be asked again about funding gain-of-function research, which I believe he lied about the first time. But he also this time will be asked about deleting and destroying records and compelling or seeking others to delete and destroy records.
Poll released more than 1,100 pages of Fauci's diaries ahead of the hearing. One entry shows Fauci received a private CIA briefing concerning the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Fauci wrote that officials had information from a source that, quote, "unknown experiments were conducted by the military in Wuhan." But Fauci described the CIA briefers as, quote, naive and uninformed, adding, quote, there is something very fishy about all of this. Weeks later, Fauci wrote that the FBI had, quote, no idea who they were talking about when it concluded that COVID-19 originated from a laboratory leak. Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas posted on X Monday, quote, Fauci's diary confirms what we have long known. Tony Fauci is a lying fraud who covered up for China. Fauci is scheduled to testify Wednesday before Paul's Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee. Meanwhile, Senator Mitch McConnell remains in rehabilitation after suffering a fall and a mild case of pneumonia. The Kentucky Republican has not been medically cleared to return to work and has missed over 36 Senate votes since June 14th. Washington will honor the late Senator Lindsey Graham Tuesday with a Capitol ceremony and a 2 p.m. funeral at Washington National Cathedral. President Trump will deliver a tribute. Graham's remains will travel to South Carolina for a Wednesday procession, funeral, and private burial. The Senate's August recess begins August 7th. Senators are not scheduled to return to Washington until September 14th. Chris Bobb, NTD News.
And you're looking at a live shot of the United States Capitol. The rise of socialist ideology is taking center stage. This is the midterms, now less than 100 days away. How are voters reacting to the trend? We'll hear from the folks right here in D.C. just after the break.
Are you sitting at home living in pain? Maybe it's in your hands, maybe your back or your hips. The good news is you don't need to live in pain. Why? Because there is Omega XL. A one-of-a-kind, natural, powerful joint relief supplement created from the green lip mussels of New Zealand. Drug-free, non-habit forming. It's small, easy to swallow, and it's backed by more than 40 years of clinical research. If you're experiencing daily aches and pains due to aging and overuse, try Omega XL. Just ask anybody who uses it. The results are undeniable.
I had a lot of joint pain, and that slowed me down.
I had considerable pain in my back.
Really felt the pain. I mean, in my ankles and in my heels.
I'm telling you about something that's gonna change your life. It has revived me.
This works.
I'm not a prisoner anymore to my pain.
As I was getting older, my joints started to feel that wear and tear. But then I tried Omega XL, and it changed my life. Today I'm here at my ranch exercising some of my polo ponies. So as you get older, it gets tougher. I was starting to suffer some of that business, and then I ran into somebody who said, look, you should try Omega XL. And look what it's done. I feel better than I felt in the last 30 years. Omega XL gave me the ability to get back in the saddle. It works great. If you're in pain, I want you to know that there is real hope out there. I'm living proof. See the difference it can make in your life, just like it did in mine.
Call now or order online to receive our special TV offer. Buy one bottle of Omega XL and get a second free. Plus, we'll also include a free bottle of Vitamin XL D3. 2 free bottles for the price of 1 bottle of Omega XL. A total value of $115. You pay only $49.95 and it ships free. Plus, you get a money-back guarantee. Buy one, get 2 free. Call or go online right now.
MyPillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium MyPillows that adjust to your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got my pillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night, and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
Now for the lowest price ever. Kings, $19.98. Queens, only $18.98. And Giza Dream bed sheets, the best sheets in history, for as low as $29.98. Lux Beer 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you. What a concept. Now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But that's not all. Order right now and we'll ship your order absolutely free.
And welcome back to the Capitol Report. I'm Steve Lance. Michigan's Democrat Senate primary race could be a key indicator in which direction the Democratic Party could be heading. The race is between Congresswoman Haley Stevens, representing the party's more moderate establishment group, and Abdul El-Sayed, representing the party's socialist left-leaning wing. NTD correspondent Jason Blair reports.
With Michigan primaries about a week away, the state